Good afternoon, fellow Fox fans. Thanks for joining me. I know I'm a little bit late. We should have gone live at 4. But you know what? Note to self, before you go live, don't put some Thornton special toffee in your mouth. Because you know what happens? You got it. You got it. Wycombe Wanderers 1, Leicester City 0. 2 pre-season games we've played. We've had 4 pre-season teams, if you like, the way that Brendan's done it. We've scored no goals. We've conceded 1, and we've basically drawn 1, lost 1, won nothing. What do you think of our pre-season so far? That's what we're going to be looking at straight after this.
Are you ready? I'm saying, are you ready?
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here. Now be sure to watch Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV by subscribing on YouTube and following them on social media for all the latest Leicester City news and information. Come on, you foxes!
Strap yourself in,
because we're set up, switched on and ready to go.
Six, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
We are live. Good afternoon, everybody. Well, pre-season. It's only pre-season, isn't it? Or do we just say that basically because we've not had a very good one? Does pre-season actually mean anything? I mean, you know, our pre-season, in fairness, we've never gone to the Far East and done tours or America and done tours. You know, we've always sort of popped down the road to Burton. We seem to do that every year. So does it really mean anything? We'll be looking at that later on. Scott's going to join us, but Scott, bless him, he's out shopping with the missus. Maybe she's trying an extra pair of shoes on. He'll be joining us later, though, as and when he gets home, if he's allowed. I'm sure he will be. He'll be joining us later to talk about it as well. Louis, thanks so much for joining us. Good afternoon, sir. How the devil are you? Facebook user, not sure who you are. Register with StreamYard or just stick your name at the end and I can see who I'm talking to. It is Leicester Till I Die. We are on YouTube. Go over to YouTube if you're not watching on there and give us a subscribe. We would be ever so grateful. Leicester Till I Die TV. If you want to watch us on Facebook, we are on Leicester Till I Die, the group, obviously, and in the Twitter sphere, if that's where you live, we are on @LeicesterTID. Another Facebook user here. Hi, don't know who you are, but we'll say hi anyway. And like I say, please, if you haven't subscribed yet or you are watching on YouTube, nip over and see. Couple of things just to mention and have a look at before we go any further. Don't forget, and this can still be found on Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube. It's right up at the top there in the Prime selection. It is the transfer special that I did with Fabrizio Romano. hey, what a nice guy. And we talked all sort of ins and outs for Leicester. I asked him about Kabak, Berardi, James, Piera, Maitland Niles. I do struggle with these names, don't I? Clean my teeth this morning, can't do a damn thing with them. Also, though, of course, yeah, a couple of our players been linked to leaving. So what did he have to say about Pratt possibly going back to Italy, or Maddison on his way to Arsenal? Arsenal seemed to think he'd take his shoes and socks off and walk barefoot on broken glass down to the Emirates. What did Fabio think? And of course, Tillemans as well to Liverpool, and maybe some others as well. Gotta say, Leicester Till I Die TV, get over there, give us a subscribe and watch that kindly back there by the ME group. But guys, it was the unveiling yesterday. Just sort of position myself there between Jamie and James, the two James. I'm James Bond, 007. What do you think of the new away strip? I like it. Let me know what you think. Every year I say, do you know what? I'm not going to order the strip this year. It's always blue, and remember the away strip always used to be yellow and gold. If you see what I'm wearing here, but it's fashion, isn't it, these days? I can remember this time a couple of seasons ago, absolutely saying, what are we doing with a pink outfit? But the pink and the black looked really, really nice. I actually went and bought it. And I'm going to be honest with you, I bought the purple last season. I'm kind of probably going to buy the green this season as well. I do. I mean, it's the worst kept secret. I've never known for many a year where we've known almost to exactly what it is with the checkerboard effect of what the strip's going to be like. But there it is. We saw it, as I say, a couple of weeks before. It was all over the internet. Louis says, well, come on to Louis in a second. Welcome to El Puso. Is that El Puso? El Pueso 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's Dave Smith. Dave, that's easier. I should have read that first, really, shouldn't I? Anybody would think this show wasn't pre-planned. Yeah, it's not. It's thrown together. Not sure about the mink kit. My daughter had that colour at her wedding, so it's this year's colour. Did she? Well, I tell you what, you have to get her to wear that if she goes to an away game. She might be able to just slip on the pitch unnoticed, Yeah, it is, isn't it? I mean, I'm buying the blue one as soon as the club get around to sending me, because I've requested I don't know if anybody else is having this trouble, let me know, but I've requested the kit with the FA Cup logo on the shoulder. And just in case anybody's watching that didn't know, Leicester won the FA Cup this season. Anyway, so I've ordered that. Every sort of week I get an email off the club saying, yep, your shirt's on the way. This has been delayed. The latest delay is they're waiting for more of the FA Cup logos to come through to put on it. But I don't know. I might get it in time for next season. Come on, Leicester, pull your finger out, get that to me. And I bought that because it was a different pattern, different shade, not just a plain blue. And they've gone and done this to me. So I'm going to end up having said I'm not going to buy any strip this season to buy into. So I like it. And we have, over the years, white used to be our main second colour. Then we had a little bit of gold and yellow. Do you remember? We've had one of my favourites, which is the black with the blue stripe going across, as in when we were Leicester Foss. My favourite of all time, which if you watch the Fabrizio video, you'll see me wearing in honour of him, and that was the green and blue half and half shirts. My favourite all-time away Leicester City shirt. This is my all-time favourite blue one, and I've got that as well, but I wore that the other day, so I thought I'd wear yellow. I can't wear the same shirt day in, day out. You'll think I don't wash. Yeah, you can smell me, can't you? Sorry about that. But yeah, do you like the green? Tell me. We've had red many times. So green, it had to be different really to catch our attention, and it is. And they played in it. And be honest with you, I think the fact that they've got the blue, the dark shorts and socks, I think is what makes it. I think if it was all green, it'd look a bit, ugh. But we will see. Whatever you think, let's face it, it's not as bad. It's not as bad as Man City's was last year. I mean, that does look like my old grandma's curtains, to be honest with you. I think they probably wanted to save a bit of money because of the FPP, but yeah, we'd never get as bad as that. Going to say, Doug, welcome along from Nike. Yeah, reading two comments at once. Doug from the Dugout Football Channel currently sits atop of the quiz league with us at the moment, being a Liverpool fan. Will he still be there tonight? Man United and Arsenal, but we'll come on to that later. Interesting away kit. Mint is an interesting colour. It's a cool colour. That's what I did there. Actually, I don't know. Yeah, mint top. If only. I just hope, guys, and it's set up. We've got to get Derby County in one of the cups. Mint and the Rams. You see where I'm going there? That one. Yeah, probably I probably have been better off not going there. At least you don't have Nike as a sponsor. To be honest with you, we've had everybody else. We happen to have Adidas at the moment, and absolutely love them. The three stripes, iconic. I can remember having an Adidas bag, Adidas bag when I was at school, and that was many years ago. Many. Louis saying here that he thinks Arsenal are now more interested in Odegaard rather than Maddison. I just don't know if Maddison's going to go. I'm not going to tell you what Fabra thinks. You've got to go and watch the video and subscribe for that. And Louis says he doesn't think Maddison will leave. I mean, where Leicester are now and where Maddison is, where Arsenal are, no, what is there to go? I mean, Leicester is such a well-run club. Have you seen the pictures of them playing water polo? I mean, there was that famous picture. I don't know who it was. I think when somebody signed for Everton, and then they did a picture of him, and he was really pissed off. He didn't look happy to be there at all. All those players actually looked happy to be there playing water polo and what have you. And you're looking at that and thinking, like, why would anybody want to leave this club? It happens. It is London. Maddison, bit of a playboy, likes to sort of, live life on the edge, push the rules, but, there we go. We've only got another month and 2 days to hang on. God, I haven't got any hair left as it is, which is why I wear this hat. God knows what it'll be like at the end of the transfer window. But who do we need to come in? Or having seen the talent that we've got in the last two games, disappointed with the pre-season, pleased. I mean, Louis says here, it's only pre-season. Yes, it is. And let's be honest with you, we're football fans. How often have we had a really, really, really good pre-season where we've smashed every game only to have an awful season? So it doesn't mean anything. I mean, Wycombe, who we played yesterday, were already a nice kit. I did like Wycombe's kit, by the way. But there you were. That's a side thing. They were already getting ready to start playing, I think, next week or the week after. They were further ahead than we were. And, of course, it doesn't help swapping a whole team. I thought that was what Sven did. I mean, if Brendan is going to do that, and I don't agree with it personally, but I'm not the manager, he is. If you're going to play two separate teams like that, would you not play one whole team in the first game and then one whole team in this game? I used to say with Sven, what was the point of, he used to make all these changes. Sven was probably what put me off supporting England, because of all the changes in the friendlies and what have you. So I do understand it, but I just don't get the fact that if they'd got the 90 minutes to play together, I think you can sort of tend to see, what's going on, how are the players getting on so well. But, these players, especially the first teamers, they put a through ball expecting somebody to be there, and they're not. You know, I just don't get, like I say, why there was so many changes in both games. Nippon, am I seeing the scoreline correctly? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Thing is, it was also the scoreline in the FA Cup, I believe. Wasn't that to Leicester over Chelsea? I think it was. I think it was. uh, So Nippon, I'm going to sort of say that to you. But Louis, I don't like his Madison thinks he's David Beckham. He can't just curl shots from anywhere he wants. That said, though, you know, I'd sooner him have a go and take some shots than not have any shots at all. Scott's here. We're going to be bringing him in 1 second. David, good afternoon to you, David. We can always say pre-season isn't as important. And then we should look at yesterday's game and see, were we better as a team versus Wycombe than versus Burton? I mean, we should be improving, right? We should, but again, different players in the mix. You know, it was, as I've just said, a complete change at half time. I just don't. I get where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from. Louis says here, I'll only judge our players when it comes to Villarreal. I mean, yeah, he's got to put the strongest team out against Villarreal. I think, to be honest with you, even against the Queen's Park Rangers, because, you know, we're going to be playing Villarreal, who, in fairness, are the European Europa League champions. So he's going to probably want to put his stronger team out, but they've got to start playing together competitively for a full 90 minutes before that. Nippon says, where's your UCL, mate? Come back and see me at the end of the season, Nippon. You know, especially when you've only just scraped into the competition next year. We let you in. We felt guilty having beaten you in the FA Cup, Nippon, and we let you get into those top 4 places. You better than Wycombe? Yeah, not sure about that, to be honest with you. Not sure about that at all. Let's say good evening or good afternoon. I was doing so well then. I haven't got my evenings and afternoons mixed up at all. Back from his shopping spree, it's Scott. Hello, Scott.
Hi, Chris. Sorry for being a bit late, mate.
That's okay, mate. I know what it's like. Get a woman out shopping. I'm surprised that you're in when you are, to be honest with you. I was gonna send a search party down to Asda for you.
No, I quickly grabbed her by the ear and pulled her back in the car at the end of it.
He's joking, by the way, just in case anybody allegedly, in case anybody's watching, you know. Let's look. I'm looking. I mean, you know, you came in there. We've been talking about the pre-season. Looking at the 2 games together, we drew with Burton and lost on penalties. So technically, I said at the start we'd actually drawn 1 game, but I suppose technically we lost it. I mean, it is only pre-season though, isn't it?
Yeah, I wouldn't read too much into the results, to be honest. It's more a fitness thing for both games. I mean, you know, you got to look at the squad itself. Every player's got to flipping get the fitness up, ready for the new campaign. So Brendan Rodgers is doing the right thing by fielding all of his players in both halves and, you know, getting minutes back into the legs.
Yeah. Dave says there, you look shocked.
Oh, definitely.
And Louis says you're getting done for assault. Good evening, Gus. Good evening. You know, I'm just going to, if I say evening, you know what I mean. I just can't get out of it. Good afternoon, Static. Thanks for joining us. Welcome along. Yeah, I do get what you're saying, and I can remember, as I said earlier, sometimes we've had great pre-seasons. We've played 4 or 5 games, we've not lost, and then we've got relegated when we've gone into the season. It doesn't bear any resemblance, does it, on how we're going to perform during the season?
No, like I say, I'm really not too worried about the results itself. What I've seen of both games, some of the players that have been linking up has been great to see, and that's all that you want. That's me as a fan. I'd rather see the link up play between certain players, and you know how they're going to hopefully go through the rest of the season, sort of thing.
Indeed. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too worried about, again, the lack of goals because, you play a through ball for Vardy and you think, oh, hang on, he was on in the first half. He's not on in the second half. That's what I couldn't get my head round. And maybe it's me. We've played 2 games and technically we played like 4 teams, if you like. But would you not have played, rather than make all the changes at half time in both games, just give the first half team the whole match for Burton and then the second half team the whole match for Wycombe?
I can see some logic in where you're coming from, but I think it's, in a way, it's unfair to all the players in the squad sort of thing. Because then at least, if you're asking players to come back during pre-season and then go instantly into 90 minutes, it's a bit too much for anyone, really. Doesn't matter what team that you come up against. The likes of Burton and Wycombe themselves have played 2-3 games within pre-season, so they're a lot more match fit and everything like that. So I think that's the reason why Brendan Rodgers and the coaching staff have decided to go from for 2 45-minute intervals per game.
Mate, no, you totally talking sense there, unlike me. But I mean, looking at some of the individual, because I said there's no point in looking at the matches and say how many shots did we have or they had more corners or whatever, because it doesn't mean a thing for the 2 games and the way they were played. I mean, Jabokovic, he's still alive. I thought we were just playing, he'd done a scam on us, an Eastern European scam, and we were paying his wages, and he'd actually sort of died 3 years ago, but he was still with us. And in fairness, he did what was asked of him.
Yeah, he's, don't get me wrong, he's a quality goalkeeper, even with his age taken into consideration and everything like that. He is a decent 3rd choice keeper, probably even 2nd choice, depending on who you've got in front of him. Obviously, with the likes of Leicester, we've got Kashif Schmeichel and we've got Danny Ward. So unfortunately, the likes of Jakovic ain't really going to get many opportunities to put his case forward, sort of thing. But in the games that he has played, he's done well for us. You can't ask much more of a keeper than to make the saves that he's made.
And of course, you've got the thing that you've got Casper there, and if Casper stays fit, he's going to be playing in all the Premier League games, and he'll probably play all the Europa League games as well. FA Cup, not sure. League Cup, probably not. But if he gets injured, or when you come to looking at the League Cup, and Danny Ward, who may actually, still go yet, we don't know with Danny Ward, but if Danny Ward's there, Jabokovic has got to stand up as then becoming the number 2 in those games.
Yeah, it's, don't get me wrong, it's unfair for Jakovic and for the scenario that he's in. But what you've got to remember is he is a little bit older compared to the other 2 keepers. So having him as a backup, whether it's Premier League, Europa League, or within the cup sort of thing, it's never a bad thing to have a decent 3rd choice keeper. But I will say, as you mentioned about Kashif Schmeichel and Danny Ward, I don't think it's going to be as clear cut as what you're saying in regards to Premier League and Europa League, being between the sticks. I think one keeper will be your out and out Premier League keeper, and the other one will tend to be Europa League keeper. But we'll wait out and see.
We'll wait and see, because, like I say, I think it will be Europa and Europa and Premier League, and then the FA, the 2 cups. But I mean, we had Mark Schwarzer, didn't we, in the Premier League winning season as a backup? He hardly played, and at the end of the day, let's be honest with you, I've still got that toffee in my mouth. Jabokovic, we need to get a goalkeeper called Smith. Iverson was played well. I can say his name, but Jabokovic he signed a new contract last year. He didn't have to if he wasn't, happy. So he must be reasonably, okay with what the situation is. And like you say, maybe at his age, he's happy to do that.
Yeah, I think with the Leicester, he knows that he's getting a decent pay packet to be within the squad, so to speak. But his performances before he come to Leicester, because I believe he was at Hull City at the time.
Yeah.
They were phenomenal. He was, especially penalties and things like that. He was one of the best keepers for penalties. So have that within your arsenal for Brendan Rodgers, is quite incredible. And for him to just, be prepared to take a back step and, let the likes of Danny Ward and Cassius Michael constantly taking the places, then it says a lot about Brendan Rodgers and the coaching staff himself.
Yes, it does. That they want to stay. Dave Smith there. Good afternoon, Dave. Makes the point. If Danny Ward has anything about him, he has to leave. You can't be a number 2 all your playing time. He can't. I think the idea is, he was 12 million when we got him from Liverpool. He was expensive for a backup keeper. We know he's good with penalties. He's proved that for us in the past. Excellent Euros for Wales. One of the best goalkeepers in the whole of the Euros, to be honest with you. Obviously, the Wolves link is there, and I'm not going to tell you what Fabrizio said about that when I asked him. You're going to have to go and watch the video to see what he said about that, anybody that's watching. But, I could understand it if Danny Ward looked at it and go, look at me, I'm Wales number 1 now. I'm in the, one of the best goalkeepers in the Euros. I want first team football. Wolves obviously sold their goalkeeper, sniffing round. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually goes.
No, I know what you're saying, and I wouldn't be surprised myself. But at the end of the day, I think this is where Brendan Rodgers and the coaching staff and everyone that is involved in the club has got to sort of make sure that they put Danny Ward's interests at heart. And this is why I say I do believe, although Cash has been an amazing goalkeeper for us, don't get me wrong, I think the time now is to sort of say, look, Casper is going to be our Premier League keeper and Danny Ward will be our Europa League keeper. And, give him a chomp at the bit sort of thing. And give him a chance.
We have got Casper, we've got Smike, we've got Danny Ward, we've got Eden Japokovic, we've got Iverson, and I'm just reading here, we've got another goalkeeper, Odunze, Odunze. That's 5 goalkeepers, all of different aging and standards. And at some point, we're going to have to trim that back, obviously. So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Danny Ward has a decision to make either way: stay at a top 6 club or go to a bottom 6 club. I don't know. Like I say, if somebody like Wolves comes in for him, then although I do think they will struggle next term, he could do a job at any of those clubs that are sort of 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. He doesn't have to be a bottom 6 that he goes to.
Yeah, personally, I can't see him going anywhere lower than the Premier League. He doesn't. No. He doesn't deserve that.
No.
And as you say, with the links towards Wolves themselves, if he's going to get first team football, then, like you mentioned before, we have got goalkeepers standing and waiting to sort of give their opportunity. So, Daniel Everson, for example, he last season played for what was it? I can't remember what they're called now. Preston North End, and he had rave reviews while he was playing there. Yeah. So if we did lose Danny Ward, yes, it would be it would be horrible to see. However, we have got backup in abundance in that particular department. So, you know, we'll just have to wait and see on that one.
Right. I didn't realise here, and sorry guys, I don't tend to keep up too much with other teams' news, to be honest with you. But as Louis said here, apparently Wolves have already signed another goalkeeper. So yeah, it won't be Wolves he's going to. He's not going to go, as he says there, to be a number 2 when he's number 2 with us. So Static again. I didn't realise they'd actually signed somebody, but they have. But going on to a point Static asked earlier, and we'll just slip this one in here. But he's saying, what would be a successful season for Leicester? And I was on Rich Sports channel last night, and I was kind of asked, what would I prefer, top 4 or the Europa League trophy? So for me, success next season would be a good run in the cups. I think we've got a good chance of winning the Europa League, depending obviously who comes down from the Champions League, etc. But I would be very happy with top 5 or 6 again. I think the top 4's struggling, but if we have a consistency, it would be nice to grow, but I think we've come to a point where we're almost hitting the ceiling now, because it's a big jump to get to 5th, 6th, 7th, from there into the top 4 with the sort of money and the what those clubs have got. So for me, a successful season would be consistency. I don't know what about you, Scott?
I can definitely see where you're coming from, and I think in all aspects of everything that we've got to look into is that I think, like you say, when it comes to the the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, is it Carabao Cup?
Yeah, still it is. I think it's still the Carabao Cup. Yeah.
I think you've got to at least be sort of getting towards the quarterfinals, semi-finals within them 2 cups. With the Europa League, don't get me wrong, I'd love to win it. But I think Brendan Rodgers, this is where Brendan Rodgers really does earn his money this season. I think, in all honesty, he needs to make, say, quarterfinals, semi-finals, a minimum within the Europa League. Within the Premier League, like you say, I'd be happy if we made sort of 5th, 6th by the end of the season. Like when it comes to trying to get into the top 4 with the teams that we're coming up against, i.e. Man City, Liverpool, United, they're all spending bundles of money on players. Leicester haven't got that financial infrastructure.
We never will have, probably, in fairness, But Andrew says there, he said top 4's the rewards are enormous, and would pay for the ground extension. And he's also said there, plus top 4 would attract top players. I mean, people said that. They said, like, oh, you didn't finish in the top 4 again, you dropped out. The players aren't going to want to come to Leicester now you're not in the Champions League. The fact of the matter is, Leicester, no matter whether we finish top 4 or not, could not go out and buy Haaland, could not go out and buy Varane, could not go out and buy Sancho. We haven't got 70, 80, 90 million to pay on players, and we'll let those clubs buy them off us for that bit of money, but that isn't the way we do things. We'll go out and buy somebody for 20, 30, take a risk on them. We've done our due diligence, so hopefully we've got it right. And then, that's how we go. Now, this season we didn't finish in the Champions League, but we attracted 2 players from Champions League clubs. We've attracted Daka from Salzburg, who topped the Austrian League, and Soumari from Lille, who topped the French League. Both of those clubs, in some form, are going to be in the Champions League next season. But the draw of the Premier League was such that Leicester and the club we are now, with all the facilities we've got, and the fact that we've won the FA Cup, we've won the Premier League, was enough to pull them to the club. So I think we will always attract as long as we're doing what we're doing now, we will always attract the sort of players we want. Attracting top players doesn't always work out for you. Slimani, what do you think, Scott?
I think you're exactly right. I don't think we need to be attracting the likes of Haaland and other players like that. Don't get me wrong, they are quality players, but I think with Leicester, I see them as a better version of Southampton back in the day. For the reason being is the amount of times they brought in young players, whether it was through the youth system or whether it was transfer policy itself. But then they'd have 2 or 3 seasons with these players, and then they'd sell them on to the likes of Liverpool and Chelsea and whatever else. And I honestly believe that if Leicester still want to be able to compete in the higher echelons of the Premier League, in European competition, and latter stages of the 2 English Cups, you've got to start somewhere. And I think this is where our transfer business and our youth development has really sort of rose to the occasion.
Yeah. Agree totally. And as indeed, sorry, you caught me trying to read some notes there. Rich Sports just called it the League Cup. Static, don't bring garlic bread into it. You know what you start saying when you mention garlic bread. Talk MU will pop up and start talking about fridges. Tycho, the Arsenal fan. Hi, mate. How you doing? Nice for you to come along. Dave, this was the one I was going to click on. We are praised in World Football about our transfer policy. Indeed, we are. And Fabrizio, again, keep mentioning the video, but yeah, he was praising Leicester's transfer policy. And as I said in Rich's show last night, yes, we do sell players, and it seems that we sell one player every season, but we don't have to. And that's the thing. We sell them because we get an offer we can't refuse. We're not going to turn down £80 million for Maguire, who we paid £19 million for, or £60 million for Mahrez, who we paid £425,000 for, or £50 million from Chelsea, who we didn't pay anything for Chilwell for. So, we will sell, but we're making a hell of a lot of money on the back of it, Rich, the Mickey Mouse Cup. Yeah, only because you're not bothered for winning it. Manchester City won't call it that. I can remember when we had under Martin O'Neill a few years ago, late 90s, we were in 3 finals and we won it twice in 4 years. And the big boys, yourself included, Man United, weren't bothered for it. In fact, we beat Man United, B team, on the way to when you had Cruyff, was it, playing for you? Cruyff's son. You weren't bothered. Then you suddenly realised, hang on, Leicester are getting into Europe playing this way. Suddenly, Man United, Man City, Chelsea, the big boys suddenly thought, actually, if we don't make the top 4, we can still get into Europe this way. So, it's not the Mickey Mouse Cup in that way. It is. Tycho says the fridge gang will always be there. We should start a WhatsApp group, guys. Start a WhatsApp group for the fridge gang. Jordi Cruyff, that was it. Couldn't remember his name. Jordi Cruyff never quite lived up to his dad. Tycho, fridge and friends, Lola. but let's going back, getting off the fridge now and getting off garlic bread before I get distracted, because I'm very easily distracted by a bit of garlic bread. Some of the players I was surprised to see playing in the 2 games, Gazelle, who I thought was virtually just waiting for the ink to dry on his contract, and Benkovic. Were you surprised to see those 2?
Yeah, I was. Benkovic, I've been following, obviously, since he's come to Leicester. The only time that he's really had a decent spell is when he was at Celtic, when Brandon was in charge. Other than that, since he's been on loan to other clubs within the Championship, he really whether it's his attitude or something like that, he hasn't been given the games, and the games that he hasn't played, it just looks out of his depth. So to see him coming in and doing pre-season and things like that has been quite a shock. Now, Gazelle, although he's played over at Turkey, I believe, other than that, when he was playing for Leicester and he had a couple of games at Leicester, he didn't really do anything to amaze me. The only thing that I can see that he has got consistent at the minute, and that's his delivery, albeit whether it's taking corners or taking free kicks. Other than that, to me, I'd be happy to see him go.
I've always said that. I'm not going to lie. I think, let's be honest with you, the poor guy never stood a chance, because as soon as he came, he was labelled the new Riyad Mahrez. And it's like, it's being labelled the new Alan Shearer, the new Jamie Vardy, the new Roy Keane. It's an albatross around your neck from the get-go, really. Last night, when he had his 45 minutes, I don't think he did anything wrong. I think he did all right. He was able to get the corner past the first man, which, let's be honest with you, and the free kicks. Maddison very rarely could do. I mean, Maddison couldn't get any height on his free kicks at all. That's one of the things we've struggled with. So, Andy says here he's putting him in the shop window. He doesn't need to be in the shop window, because you've got two Turkish teams fighting over him. And the worst that could have happened is that he was injured, and we would be stuck with him if we're not going to keep him. I thought, to be honest with you, he did okay. Whether that's good enough to fill that gap, because Brighton's getting older now, he may be leaving. Under just didn't work. We need somebody on that right wing to balance it up with Harvey Barnes when he's fit. I don't know whether that is Gazelle or not, but I thought he did okay last night. Like I say, the corners were good, the free kicks were getting past the first man. Benkovic, I don't know whether he's still going to be the answer. I mean, I'm worried because Brendan played him week in, week out in Scotland when he had him at Celtic, and as soon as he came down, he loaned him out. So he's obviously looked at him and thought, yeah, you were good for the Scottish League, you're not good enough for the Premier League, which probably says more about the Scottish League than anything. But I just don't think. I was thinking, I was watching him thinking, are you going to be the answer? Because we do need another centre back with Wes Morgan gone. Tarkowski we've been linked with. It's stupid prices. But I don't think he's the answer, is he?
Nah, Benkovic, like I say, what I've followed of him through the Championship and things like that. I mean, last season he played at Cardiff, and I've got a friend that is a Cardiff fan, and he was saying, it just looks so far out of his depth. Every time that he's told to do something, it doesn't seem to be able to reach the heights that was expected, and that's at championship level. So for him to take the next step and start playing Premier League, I do fear for him. Even as a backup, I really don't rate him that well at all.
No. Who was that Polish? We bought a Polish winger, didn't we? Kaputska or something like that.
Yeah.
That was excellent in the Euros, and he just never made it. And I think Benkovic is just one of those. And, it's a shame, because obviously if he was going to be the missing piece in that jigsaw as a backup centre-back, he did okay again. He did nothing wrong, but we were playing lower league opposition. We weren't. I wouldn't like to see him having to come on and play against Man City or Harry Kane or somebody like that. Youngsters. Let's come on to the youngsters, and there's one that really stood out for me here. Andy has said exactly the same. Kieran Dewsbury Hall, and I'm just going to go back up here to a comment where, if I can just find it, talk amongst yourselves. There we go. David said, over the two games I've seen, he's made these assessments. David, I love you to bits. Thanks for joining in, but I can't even pronounce that name. You know what I'm like. I struggle with anything past Chris, and to be honest with you, although at least we didn't have a player called Trialist. we didn't have one of those. Sumari, KDH, he said exactly the same. They've stood out for me. KDH, I mean, we've got to keep him, and he's got to be, if not a starter, he's got to be in the match day squad, hasn't he?
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to see Kieran Dewsbury Hall in the match day squad. Whether it's Europa League, whether it's Premier League, it really won't matter. The guy deserves it. I was saying last season, because I was following him through Luton Town when he was playing for them, and the rave reviews that he was getting, and some of the games that I saw him playing, he was just bossing, central of the midfield. And the chances that he was creating, he's not afraid to have a go at goal from sort of 25, 30 yards out. But it's also he's got like a Tielemans sort of effect in my eyes, because he can see a pass from sort of 30 yards out, and he will link that up. So to have him to link up with the likes of Vardy and Patson Daka, would be amazing sort of thing. I can't wait.
No, and if we are going to be in the position of maybe losing one of because if we're going to lose anybody, it appears to be one of the midfielders, Tielemans, Ndidi, and Maddison. Again, we don't have to go out and buy anybody, because I think he would just slip into one of those roles very easily.
Yeah, definitely. He's one of them that he's been waiting and waiting for his opportunity, and I think this season, this is his opportunity. Whether any of the players that have actually been mentioned could potentially go, we'll have to wait and see. But I do believe KDH definitely deserves an opportunity. In any of the competitions, he needs to stay within the squad, because he is that kind of player that he could potentially be a game changer.
I mean, Man City have got their KDB. We're going to have our KDH, aren't we? It's all going to be this season. But a lot of the other youngsters that came in as well, and I'm really going to struggle with a lot of these names here. But the young player from Thailand, I'm going to use his first name because that is at least attemptable. Thanuat. I'm not going to pronounce the surname. I'm going to attempt to pronounce the surname. Kamal Sowa did okay as well. Masal, the gentleman that we mentioned earlier, Tawanda. I mean, please sign somebody called Smith, Brendan. I mean, looking at all of these, it's. I think it's Brendan. I think it's actually Brendan's attempt to get us on TV next season. I don't want to. But I did notice last night actually the commentator from LCFC actually got the name of the goalkeeper wrong in the second half. I don't think he'd realised that they'd swapped. But it's the future's bright. The future's blue with these players, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got amazing amounts of talent that's coming through from the youth system. I've been saying on previous podcasts all last season about Kamal Sowa, because he's been playing for our sister club, Loveman. And he's been getting rave reviews over there. I can't remember what his actual stats are, but that considering the games that he's played in and things like that, he's been doing really well. I'd love to see him, because predominantly he is a right mid / right winger. However, he can play anywhere within the either wing or attacking midfielder. So he'd be another good player for us to sort of keep within the squad. Obviously, allowance comes into that sort of thing. The player that has really surprised me, and that's Makin Sawa.
Oh, yeah.
Or
Yeah.
no, Makin Sahisi, is it something like that?
Hey, I'm not going to argue with you, mate. 10 out of 10 for attempting it. If I'd attempted that, my teeth would have popped out.
But yeah, he has been predominantly probably one of the ones that has caught me on guard, and
Yeah.
the way that he's been playing and the link up play, especially with the likes of Patson Daka, it does seem as if he could give could be good cover for Harvey Barnes down on that left midfield, left wing sort of side. So yeah, that's one to sort of keep an eye on through the rest of the season.
Static's got to go. Thanks for popping in, Static. Always welcome. Tommy, yeah, Tommy, okay, you might hear relegation battle for the season after that loss. You're just saying that because I likened you to Tom Hanks on Castaway on your show yesterday. It's a great, I know it's a Spurs channel, but he does a lot. He's called it Tommy Talks Ball. I always want to put another S on the end of that for you for whatever reason. I think you can probably guess. But it's a great channel, Tommy Talk Balls. He does a lot of non-Spurs stuff and general football stuff. He's really good with the banter. He doesn't know his quiz stuff because he didn't manage to overtake Leicester in that. But if you want to talk pre-season friendlies, mate, 1-1 with Leyton Orient. Surely you should have been beating Leyton Orient. And I'm just impressed that Tottenham have managed to get a manager now. What was it, 8th choice? Brendan, first choice. We got him. He even left Celtic to come to us. Tommy, it's banter. It's banter, mate. Andrew says here, 2 games, no goals worries me. It doesn't with me because, like I say, with strikers, unless it's a free kick, unless it's a corner, with strikers, they're going to be on the end of any move, you would hope, because the ball's going to be passed around and, it's going to hopefully end up with one of the strikers and they're going to hopefully put it in the back of the net. When you're making the changes like we have done over the past, two friendlies, they're not, you put a ball through. I mean, last night, Daka, and we'll come on to Daka and Samari and Bertrand at the moment, but Daka put a ball through thinking Vardy was going to be there, and he wasn't, and it was just that understanding's got to come. And I think, when you look at how we've changed the players, that was what was missing, but that will come when we get a settled 11 and we get into the season.
Yeah, exactly. Don't get me wrong, it's not great that we've not scored a goal yet.
No.
But like I said before, when you've got 2 different squads going out every 45 minute intervals, it's literally just to be able to make sure that all the players within the squad that's there at the minute can get minutes into their legs, because you've still got from now until the end of August to really know what your full squad's going to be, and until then, we've just got to wait and see. We've got to hope that we can keep certain players in, and if not, we've got players that can fill in for them. For example, like the Kamal, KDH and Mackin. Yeah,
Masawanzi. Yeah, I say when it goes up. I mean, those are the 2 teams we've put out there. I mean, there's 22 players there. We did bring on because of the injury. There was a player got injured, wasn't there, last night? And I'm trying to think who we brought on. It will come to me in a minute. But anyway, when you look at those, I mean, Stolarczyk, the goalkeeper in the second half, and that's not easy for me to say. These players, are not going to be in that 25-man Premier League squad, are they?
No, they're not. You'd be lucky if you get sort of 2-3 youngsters get into Premier League squad itself. But when it comes down to friendlies, and you've got to try and give these players opportunities, even if it's just put them on the transfer market so that other clubs can look at them. For example, like Benkovic, I can honestly see him going. I can't see us keeping him. I could be wrong, but that's my.
I think he will
opinion.
go. And also, you've got Gazelle as well. I think will go. Daley Campbell was who I was thinking of, and I think he's got a future with us. And yeah.
Well, he played all right last season whenever he filled in.
Yeah. I think he's not going to play all these. All these youngsters in one team, but Alex Ferguson proved you can win things with youngsters, and they will get their opportunity. It's a long season, and if we want to do well in all 4 competitions that we're in, we're going to need that flexibility of squad, and the players that won't get in, like we know that maybe the likes of so on, players like that into the Premier League squad. Well, I think we'll certainly see some cup action at all. Tommy laughing there at Tom Hanks, and he's just watched my Romanio stream in full. Great stuff as always. Smash those likes. Yep, thanks very much, Tommy. Get those likes smashed and get the subs on YouTube as well. Now, the signings. Bertrand, I'm at it again. I want to so make Bertrand to be this exotic French player. Yes,
Say you want English names, and then you come out with that.
I know. I do it. I was talking to a guy at BT Sport a couple of days ago, and he said I do exactly the same thing. I just so struggle with the English names. Bertrand. I don't know why I want to call him Bertrand. Maybe it makes him sound more sort of, attractive and sexy, and with one of these exotic continental players. Now, Ryan Bertrand from Southampton. He didn't play yesterday, but we know what he can do. He's proved it, and we know he's there sort of to help young Luke Thomas come through. But the new signings, I thought Daka looks fast.
Yeah, he does. It's not just that. It's not just his pace. It's his chain of thinking as well. I've been impressed by, whether it be the runs that he's making or the link-up play that he's trying to make with the likes of Vardy and other players around him. He does seem to have a good intelligence about him as well. So it'll be very interesting to see how is disposed of within the team this season.
And Samari, how's he? He's looked okay, hasn't he? He's not sort of set the world alight yet, but he looks like he's going to settle in well.
I'm hoping so. Like I say, he's not done anything wrong that I could see of. He's just, some players take a bit more time than others to try and settle in. And he might be one of them cases, sort of thing. That I don't think you'll see him at the start of the season probably playing in the Premier League. It might take, take till the end of August before you actually start seeing him being integrated into the team, sort of thing. But yeah, what I've seen of him, there's potential there.
Obviously, and somebody was asking about James Justin earlier. I think he's going to still be out till the end of the year. But Justin Barnes, Castagna, I guess, they're all sort of carrying knocks or injuries. Obviously, Castagna we know from the Euro, so maybe that's why they weren't there last night. But Schmeichel as well. I mean, he's not featured in either game, but what does he have to prove? We know what he can do. But the big surprise for me, and I don't think he appeared in either game, and that was a certain Mr. Perez.
Yeah, although if I'm right in believing, haven't they had the I can't remember what the equivalent is, but they've had their own international cup over Brazil sort of way, haven't they? And I do believe Perez comes from that sort of region.
No, he's Spanish, Perez.
Was he? Oh, okay.
Yes. I mean, whether he is, because of course you got the Olympics on at the moment, but the other day it was a Spanish under 23. Now I don't know whether he's gone out as an overage player or anything like that, but I'm just. We could hope, and bless him, but we could hope that maybe there's something happening behind the scenes there, and he may be going. I didn't have time to ask Fabrizio about him. I literally ran out of time, but yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't played. But yeah, like I say, I think in rounding it off there, I think it was I mean, like I say, if we'd won both games, we would be sat here now going, do you know what? We're gonna win the league next season, aren't we? We can beat Burton and we can beat Wycombe. But I don't think there's anything to be worried about. I think we're building a good squad. If we can hold on to most of our players, we do need to expand the squad. That's what he's doing. I still think we're going to see another central defender and another right winger to come in. But I think I've never felt, and I said this last season, I've never felt so optimistic going into a new season being a Leicester fan.
No, I'm quietly optimistic on, the adventures that we're potentially going to go on this season. But in your comments in regards to a right winger, I don't think we'll be going out and getting one. I think Brendan Rodgers will give the likes of Kamal Soa a good running on that right-hand side. Why spend money when you've got a ready-made player there that, all right, he's not been brilliant, but he could shine within the Premier League, and you could bring him on. If all else fails, you've still got January transfer to come in and get a right winger if you need him.
Yeah, no, it's a good point, and you don't know. If you'd have said this time last year about Luke Thomas, would have laughed, wouldn't we? So you just don't know till they get in there. And he does seem to like, and what Luke Thomas and Bertrand gives you on the left is the fact that you can keep Castagna and Pereira Ricardo on the right, and play Castagna defensively and Ricardo Pereira almost as a winger.
Yeah, exactly.
And he seemed to like doing that at the end of last season, didn't he?
Yeah, whether that was because, like you say, we haven't had the full depth of squad that we need. That's why he's played them in them particular positions. We don't know. However, he did seem to like at the end of the season to put Castagna and Pereira both on the right hand side whenever he could.
Sometimes, I think it was down to injuries and squad depth, but sometimes these things just fall into place. You would have never have had Vardy and Inacho playing the way they did if it wasn't for the injuries and the lack of a decent number 10. So, and look how that ended up. So, it's these things can sometimes fall into place. But yeah, I think Castagna and Ricardo down that right wing. Ricardo looks more than, well, even as a defender, let's be honest with you, he used to be just as much in their half as he was in ours. But most importantly now, as the last question before I let you go, and I do thank you for joining us again, Scott, a really, really important question that I've got to ask you here. On every fan's lip, I gave my opinion when I came in earlier. What do you think of the new away strip?
I like it. I really do.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. I'm not sure about the checks, and I wish that the checks weren't so. They're only on the front; they're not on the back for some reason. But and I thought with the black shorts, I think it were black shorts, but certainly dark shorts. I think it looked really smart.
It does, and it puts us out of the sort of kits that we've had previously. So with that, I really do like the new style of things and just the way that it's been put about. So it'd be good to see the team in it for the whole season.
Yes. And I think Are we the only ones with this actual style? I think for the first time, because normally, obviously, these companies, Nike, Adidas, and all these produce one style and then just make it different colours for different teams. I have a feeling we might be the only ones this season. I don't know. I could be wrong on that.
I was going to say,
Andrew,
I think Man City's got something close.
Have they? Right.
Yeah.
Right. Andrew says, did I say green instead of mint earlier? Or are you saying you think it's mint because you think it's spot on? In which case, it's a very bad pun and one that I used in the table in earlier, and nobody laughed at me. But either way, it's going to get bought in its droves, isn't it? You know, Scott, thank you so much, mate. I hope you put your shopping away, or the missus has done it for you.
No, I'll be doing that in a minute.
I hope you not bought ice cream or anything frozen, because it'll be all over your floor now. Hey, got QPR on Saturday. I think we're going to see a more settled team for that one. Do you?
I'd like to think so, but it's Brendan Rodgers. At the end of the day, he's got to, like I say, he's got to put players out and get them to have the minutes. So if it's another 45 minutes per half of the squad, then that's entirely up to him. I think the main thing will be his Villarreal game, and seeing where we go from there.
Yeah, and that's next Wednesday. So, and then after that, it's a little matter of the Charity Shield.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah, it's only Man City. What could possibly go wrong, eh? Hey. Still waiting. Oh, tickets for mere mortals like myself go on sale on Saturday. So fingers crossed, and see what will happen. But Scott, hey, thanks very much for coming on, mate. Hopefully speak to you, do the same after the QPR game if you're free. See how we get on. But thanks very much, and it's going to be a good season. Thanks, Scott.
Take care, pal. Bye.
Cheers. Thank you. Thanks very much to Scott there. Talks a lot of sense. Yeah, not like me at all. I know what you're thinking. So don't forget, we've got a couple of things for you to see. Don't forget, and I know I keep mentioning, but it is a fantastic show. Fabrizio Romano gives us the lowdown on Kabak, on Berardi, James, Pereira, and even Arsenal's Maitland-Niles. And what's going to happen with Pratt, Maddison, Tillemans, and Ward? Coming or going? Go over to YouTube, Leicester Till I Die TV, and press that subscribe button. It's the big red button if you've not pressed it already. We've got this coming up on Friday, and that is the King Power extension chat. So, and I know that isn't the picture that might be used, but that was the last time it got talked about what was doing the round. So it is for illustration purposes only before everybody starts going, yeah, it's not going to look like that. I know it probably isn't. I hope not, because I think it looks awful, to be honest with you. But that's just my opinion. And I'll be talking with Ant from Ant's LCFC channel about that on Friday at 7. But later on today, 7 o'clock, it's the big fat quiz of the week. And we've got Manchester United, and we've got a very confident Manchester United fan coming on, Reese, who has asked for hard questions. Will he regret it? And then at 8:30, Arsenal. So a double header again, Man United at 7, Arsenal at 8:30. It's a good job I've got plenty of different shirts I can swap round, so you don't think I'm wearing the same one all the time. I'll see you back at 7 o'clock. Thanks for joining in. Thanks to Scott for his input. Made some really, really good points. Stay safe, and I will see you in just, an hour and 3/4, I do believe it will be. Thanks very much, guys. Take care. See you later.
Hello, Matt Elliott here. Be sure to watch Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and follow all their social media platforms for all the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye, and see you next time.
come to an end. But the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share and get involved. Join us next time.